Hey guys, it's Quinn, and today we're taking a look at just some of the latest news that's come out of Bond 25 that's going to be coming out in November of 2019. Now, we have not had too much revealed about this film, but I think that this would be a very good time just to give you guys a few updates on what exactly is going on. Now, first and foremost, the director of this film is expected to be Danny Boyle, who's been one of the best directors I would say in recent time, famous for Train Spotting as well as 28 Days Later. This guy's a really competent director that what he's really famous for is sort of adding a different spin to a lot of the genres he's in, really adding a creative element that I think, especially in the Bond series, would be something that'd be very useful. Now, he also likes to take, as I said, a lot of creative license, really likes to take the film and do it for himself. Make it his own sort of, picture. And so it's interesting that he joined a franchise, especially Bond, which has a very rigid structure, more so than pretty much, I would say, any franchise that I can think of. Now, unfortunately, though, he is out as director. This was somewhat ironically because of creative differences, and that's what I kind of want to discuss here. Now, I had predicted for a very long time that Bond 25 would be the last Bond film. I thought that'd be, sort of fitting, especially how, we're out of the Cold War completely, and a lot of the different franchises such as Marvel and really Mission Impossible have sort of, I would say, dwarfed the Bond franchise in a lot of ways. So I thought that Bond 25 might be the last film. I want to take back that prediction just because I think that there's a lot of flavor left with it, especially because the idea of someone like Danny Boyle coming in and really shaking it all up. Now, it's interesting, though, what will happen with the next director. There's a few people's names that have been thrown out there. I've always wanted Quentin Tarantino. I think the dialogue he could give Bond would be really fantastic. Or, someone like Christopher Nolan to really give it a huge, sort of grandiose, sort of like a Dunkirk sort of feel. I think would really reboot the Bond series in a lot of ways. If you look at the beginning of each new Bond actor, what really revitalizes it is the sort of energy that it brings in. I think that Christopher Nolan is absolutely fantastic at keeping that energy going a long way. And I think that especially in how Spectre didn't do as well as Skyfall, which to a certain degree isn't that surprising because it was the 50th anniversary, I think that the Bond series does need that sort of revitalization a little bit. Daniel Craig can sell a film, but only if it's a film that can have a really exciting sort of package. The thing with Danny Boyle is I think that he could have given that sort of energy, that sort of uniqueness that I think a lot of directors otherwise wouldn't have given. So who is the next director going to be? I don't know, but one thing I do think is interesting is, the talking of who's going to be the next Bond actor in Bond 26, of course, if we have one. I was sort of the sideline for a little while based on who should be it, but I think Idris Elba would actually be a really good choice. I've sort of turned the corner on that one. There's a lot of racial differences, debate at the very least about whether or not, a black man could play Bond. I really don't think it's a huge deal, and I think that if you look at who the character is, as long as it's a guy and as long as he can do some sort of British accents, I really don't care too much. Look, we've had a Scotsman, we've had an Australian, we've had a Brit, we've had across the spectrum. I don't think a skin color necessarily affects who the character is. But that's just a few of my thoughts. I think it really is a shame that Danny Boyle is gone. I think it would have been a nice little spin. It would have felt a little weird. I'll be honest. I don't think it would have fit into the Bond canon normal per se. And, the one problem with that is you don't want to get away from what Bond is about. But at the same time, I think it would have really been interesting to see what he could have done. I think that we're going to have pretty much the same old in this film now. I believe that they're bringing back the same writers that wrote the rest of the Craig era films, which they've been very hit or miss. So I'm hoping that it's very creative, but you never know. So what do you guys think about Danny Boyle pretty much being cut from the job? Who do you think should be the next director? And after Craig, who should be the next Bond? Whatever it may be, leave in the comment section below. And as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.